All right, guys. So we're at the final translation of stage 9 Thermi, and this is a fairly short translation, so it shouldn't be too long. Pretty interesting. It's going to be this is in the form of a dialogue, right? And they had these. We have a bunch of plays, specifically comedies from the Roman period. They're based a lot on Greek comedies, very specifically new comedies, the new comedies in Menander, and they're much like this. They've got this are two characters. There you see that duo servi, two slaves, and they're usually doing something that's kind of ridiculous or maybe lazy. The whole kind of thing is where they have stock characters. Characters have a set of traits that are associated with their social class. So, for example, if you are a soldier, you might be a braggart soldier. You might talk about how great you are. If you are a wealthy businessman, you might be greedy. If you're a slave, you might be lazy. So let's see what happens here. First sentence, this will let us know what's going on. A duo servi in Apodyterio stat servisunt sceledros et anthrax. So duo servi, remember that duo is a numeral, so therefore it doesn't follow the same rules that we have for the three sort of four declensions that we've got now. So we know that means two, though, and then it's going to be modified servi. Servi is obviously second declension, nominative plural, and it's slaves, two slaves in Apodyterio. So this is in the Apodyterium. This is a place where people would take off their clothes. It's like a changing room. They take off their clothes so that they could go bathe in baths. And this is a prepositional phrase with a locatival ablative. It's a neuter second declension, right? Places are usually neuter, like atrium, right? So Apodyterium. And stat, right? That's a third person plural present tense verb. So they stand, or they are standing. So let's put it all together. Two slaves are standing in the Apodyterium. Servi sunt sceledros et anthrax. So the slaves, nominative plural, sunt, a third person plural form sum, present tense, obviously. Sceledros et anthrax. These are two names, and they're in the nominative, obviously, because sunt is a copulate verb, and it will take two predicate nominatives. And sceledros is one name, nominative plural, nominative singular, and anthrax is going to be a third declension. Now, a couple notes here. First of all, Apodyterio, it probably looks a little bit weird, mainly because there's a Y in it, and we don't see a lot of Y's in Latin words. And now this is a key giveaway that this word is not Latin by origin. It's actually Greek by origin. The other clue is the apo in front of it, which is apo is it's a Greek preposition, and it means it's kind of like off of or from, right? And duo is usually used to describe like putting on or taking off clothes. So apo duo means to take off, and the erium part means that it's a place. So the Apodyterium is a place where we take off clothes. It's a lone Greek word because obviously the Greeks had baths as well. And sceledros it's kind of a funny name. We get words like sceleris in English for this, and it means kind of wicked, naughty. And anthrax, you might have heard of anthrax. It's something that can be used sort of like a poison today, but it's a kind of bacterial infection. It's very deadly. It's a Greek word. It's a Greek word, though. Obviously, that they didn't really have the name of the disease. The disease came from this. And it can either mean, a couple things. It can mean charcoal. It can also mean like pus-filled pustules, right? So like spots or blemishes or something. So they're supposed to have silly names, right? They're supposed to have silly names because this is intentionally taking a sort of comic angle, right? So that being said, also these are we do have a couple of real slave names, at least in theory, from comedy and such, that are these names. So let's go ahead and jump into Sceledros and what he says. Cur non labras anthrax, num dormis. So cur is an adverb, and specifically it's indicating that this is going to be in the interrogative, and it means why. So why? Non, that's another adverb that negates the verb laboras, which is a second person singular present tense verb. And we know laboro means to work. So why are you, because that as, why are you not working? Anthrax, and anthrax here is going to be in the vocative, even though it's the same form as the nominative. And it's because he's addressing anthrax, right? So why are you not working, anthrax? And then num dormis. Num is another adverb. We haven't seen this adverb before, but it's another way of introducing question, just as kur introduces a question that is requiring an explanation. Num is one of a couple of ways that we have to indicate a question. And num is, it's expecting a certain type of answer. And it's specifically expecting a negative answer, right? It's expecting that so dormis, as we know, it means to sleep. So it's expecting the answer is that you are sleeping, right? Whereas you might also say, if you're expecting a yes answer, the word you'd use is a non-a. And if you were expecting a neutral answer, like you didn't know either way, you would add a ne, an ne on the end of the verb. It's a little bit weird. Adding bits onto the end of a word is called enclitic. It's something that happens not infrequently in Latin. You can think of it like a suffix. But we know that this is not a ne, it's not non-a, it's num. So it's expecting a no answer. And the way you translate that is, surely you aren't whatever the verb is. So surely you aren't, dormis, second person singular verb. So surely you aren't sleeping, right? Surely you aren't sleeping. If it was non-a, you would say surely you are sleeping, right? So surely you aren't sleeping. Anthrax responds, quid dicus. And quid dicus is one of those things that you'll see a lot. Quid obviously means what, and dicus is another present tense, second person singular verb from dico, which means to speak. And says, what are you saying? What are you saying? Diligenter, and we see that ter ending, so therefore it has to be an adverb. Diligenter means diligently. Laboro, present tense, first person singular verb, I am working. So I am working diligently. Ego, it's a personal pronoun, right? And since we know that ego is a subject, it's a nominative subject. We'll have to see that their verb here is a first person singular, right? So that matches. I, and then kiwibus. Kiwibus, obviously, it's a plural. It's a third declension, either ablative or dative plural. We don't see a preposition, so we're going to assume that it's a dative right here. So I, two or four, and then togas is an accusative plural, first declension. The togas, and it's going to be the direct object. Custodio, and the word custodian from this, or custody, and it means to guard or to take care of in a way that you're kind of not managing, but you're protecting, right? So I'm guarding. So let's put this in reasonable word order. I, subject, I am guarding, direct object, the togas, and then to or for the citizens. To doesn't really make sense here, so it has to be for the citizens. So this is well and truly a dative of advantage. So putting it all together, I'm guarding the togas for the citizens. Skeladris says, togas custodis, mendax es. So togas, another accusative plural, direct object, and custodis is a second person singular. So you are guarding the togas. Question mark. Notice that there's actually not a num, non-a, or ne on this. It's just like in English, you can have a rise in inflection. So that you're guarding the togas, that indicates that it's a question. You can do this in Latin too. It's not as clear, but it happens. And then mendax es. So the word mendacious, right, or mendacity, means to be a liar. And it comes from this word mendax, which is a third declension noun. And it's with s, which is a second person singular form of sum, and it means you are. And mendax meaning liar, you are a liar. Okay? So you're guarding the togas, you're a liar. Okay, let's look and see what anthrax says in response. Kur me vituperas. So kur, here we go. We see this word again, means why, obviously an adverb still. And me is the accusative form of ego. So me, it's the same in English. and vitupras. And we know that vitupero means to curse or to kind of yell at, if you will. And it's the second person singular. So why are you cursing? Why are you yelling at me? Is essentially what it's saying. Mendax non sum. So the mendax is still a nominative singular, third declension noun, liar. Non is an adverb, and sum is I am. So I am not a liar. Togas custodio. So pretty much the same construction as up here. Means I am guarding the togas. Sclidrus says te vitupero. So te is the accusative form of to, just like may, and it's therefore the direct object of vitupero, which is a first person singular present form of the verb. That means I am yelling at you, direct object, quod. And notice that this little subordinate clause is set off by commas. That's a really good way to block text. And quod means because. So it's a subordinating conjunction. Because for, and we know for, it's a thief. It's a nominative singular. So the thief, est, third person singular form sum, is in Apodyterio, is in the Apodyterion. And that's obviously a prepositional phrase with a lock and hyphal ablative. Said is a conjunction, and it's translated as but. And to is the nominative form of te, you, so it's going to be the subject. Nil, and nil means nothing. Now, this is actually the direct object of phakis, but it's a weird sort of word. It's called indeclinable. It doesn't change its form. So even if it's the direct object, it won't be nilum, it'll just be nil. So nothing, phakis, and phakis is from phakio, and we get words like factory from this. It means to make or do. So it's a second person singular, present. So you are doing nothing. So let's put it all together. I am yelling at you because a thief is in the Apodyterium, but you are doing nothing. Okay, and how does anthrax respond? Ubi est for. So ubi is another one of those question words. Well, it's often a question word. It's a question word if it's in a main clause. It can be a subordinating conjunction if it's in a sentence with a subordinate clause. So, for example, if you're saying, I know the house where you live, you would use ubi there too. But if you just say, where does he live? That's indicating it's a question. So it's an adverb there. So ubi, where, est is for the thief. And we notice that it's not a forem, it's not an accusative, because est will still take a predicate nominative. So where is the thief? Forem non video. So forem, there we go, we've got our accusative form. So it's the direct object of this verb. And then we've got non, which is an adverb that's negating the verb. And then the verb is video. And we know videos or vision both mean something that you see. So vision is the capability of sight. So video is a present tense, first person singular verb, and it means I see. So it's I do not see a thief. And then Scilidrus says eke, and eke is just one of those. It's one of those interjections or one of those exclamations, and it means oh look, behold. What's that? Homo, and that's obviously man. So homo ille. It's a masculine. Homo ille est for. So it's a third declension. And then ille is one of those words. So we've seen hic haec hoc, and hic haec hoc means this. There are different forms of this. Ille, or illa if it's feminine, or illud if it's neuter, means that. So hic is this, illa is that. Right, so that man, est, is for the thief or a thief. So homo ille est for. So that man is a thief. Forem, accusative singular. Facile, and facile is an adverb, it means easily. Often if we see an e ending on things, that's going to be an adverb. It's either an iter ending or an e ending, are often adverbs. So it means easily. And we get words like facility from this. Agnosco, and agnosco means I recognize. Don't be too confused, because you might jump and say, I know the word agnostic, and agnostic means that you don't know something. But agnostic actually comes from a Greek word. So is in Greek, it negates certain words. And gnosos, gnostein in Greek means to know or to learn. And means to not know. So agnosko in Greek means to not know, but in Latin, it's actually ad, so ad, so the preposition that means moving towards something, plus gnosko, which comes from the same root, comes from that same Greek word, meaning to learn. So gnosko is actually related to the word that we have acknowledge, right? So it means in Latin, I recognize. So I easily, facile, recognize the thief, forum, accusative direct object. And then we've got this little stage direction right here that lets you know what's happening on the scene. You can always tell because no one's speaking it, and they're in italics. So, scelodris anthraci forum ostendit. So scelodris is the subject, anthraki is the dative, and we know that it's third declension because it has that I after the C, right? So it's third declension, dative. Forum is the accusative direct object, and ostendit is a third person singular present tense verb. Now, you might remember from some of the other translations that ostendit has been perfect tense, and it's still been ostended. There are a few verbs in Latin that will be perfect and present. They'll have the same form for both tenses. And it's a little bit tricky, but you'll get used to that. So inquit is the word meaning to he says or he said is one of these words. And induit, which we have down here, is another one of those. It's kind of tricky, but a lot of them are fairly high frequency, so you'll get used to it. And also you'll know from context. So scelodris, 2 or 4 anthrax, forum, the thief, ostended, he shows. So scelodris shows the thief to anthrax. For togam suum deponit. So for is the nominative subject, deponit. So we know that pono is to place, and we get the word position from this. And depono is puts down, so he puts down, and the accusative direct object is togam suum. And suum is it's in this case, it's a possessive pronoun, although a form of this could also be a reflexive pronoun. And it's a little difference that you don't need to know just yet. But it's the thief puts down his own toga, right? And at is a conjunction, and induit, which means puts on. It's from the same Greek root as the apoduo right here. So taking off, this is putting on, and puts on togam splendidam, another accusative direct object, and puts on a splendid toga, right? So let's put it all together. The thief takes off his own toga, or puts down his own toga, and puts on a splendid toga. Next sentence, servi ad forums statim currunt. So servi is going to be the nominative subject, it's a plural. Ad forum is a prepositional phrase, ad plus accusative, to the thief. And statim is an adverb, it means immediately. And currunt means it's a present tense verb, they run. So the slaves immediately run towards the thief. Anthrax yells out, quid facis. So we know that quid means what, and facis is from facio, it means to do or make. And in this case, we've seen facis over here before, up here. And it means, what are you doing? What are you doing? Right? And quid is the direct object of facis, by the way. It's a neuter accusative. Neuter accusative, indefinite, or it's either indefinite or interrogative pronoun. Both forms can function differently, but you don't need to know that just yet. Just know that it means, what are you doing? Forque fer. So this is a vocative third declension, and it means just thief. Hike, and we remember that hike means this. Toga, nominative, so this is a nominative subject. Non, adverb. Est, right? Tua, and tua is another possessive pronoun, and it means yours. So this toga is not yours. And then the thief, the fool, says, mendax est. Everyone here is saying that everyone's a thief. And it's, so we know that you are a thief, sorry, not a thief, a liar, pardon me. You are a liar. Mea est toga. So it literally says, so mea is another possessive pronoun, and it means mine. Est is toga, another nominative, predicate nominative, the toga. Mine is the toga. Obviously, that doesn't sound very good in English, so we're going to say either the toga is mine or that is my toga. Either are perfectly good translations. Abi. So we know ab, and ab means away. And then we know the verb ao, and ao is, it means to go. Now, in the imperative, and you'll remember that the imperative is a verbal mood that expresses commands. And if you put ab plus ao in the imperative, so imperative singular form of ao is e, or if it's plural, it's ite. So ab e means go away. And this is an order. He's yelling at him to go away, get lost. Skeletor says, te agnosco. So we know this from above up here when he said agnosco for him. Te is obviously the accusative direct object. It's a form of that personal pronoun. So you, agnosco, I recognize you. Pauper ass. So we know that Mark Twain book, The Prince and the Pauper. Pauper means a poor person, right? And it's a nominative third declension plus this s. So you are a poor person. You're a pauper. Said, but togam splendidum. So a splendid toga, accusative direct object, gerus. And gero means to bear or to carry, right? It's another form. So we've got pharaoh, which means also to carry. Gerus is another one, but it's a different form of carry. It's like usually to wear. Although there is another little, it's an idiom. If you say bellum gero, so bellum means war. You might know the word antebellum, and a gero means to wage war. But in this case, it means to wear, to carry or wear. But you wear, so second person, singular, present tense, but you wear, or you are wearing a splendid toga. So let's put it all together. I recognize you. You are a poor person, but you are wearing a splendid toga. Then we've got another set of stage direction. Mercator infrat, so nominative subject plus a present tense third person singular verb from intro, and it means the merchant enters. Togam frustra, quiet. So toga obviously is accusative direct object. Frustra, it's we'll call it an adverb here. It really comes from an ablative form of this word of frustrum, but we don't need to know that just yet. Just think of it as an adverb, and it means in vain. We get the word frustrated from it. So the toga in vain, quiet, and that means he seeks or he is looking for. So he is looking for his toga in vain. And remember, if you're going to use a word like his and there's no possessive pronoun, make sure to put it in brackets, right? So that I know that you don't think that there's a Latin word there that's not. So mercator, ahu. So the merchant says, alas, oh no. Remember, this is an interjection. Ubi est toga mea. So we see ubi here again. So where est is third person singular, toga mea. Nominatives, remember, because est is a copulate and takes nominatives. And mea is my possessive pronoun, my, going with toga. Where is my toga? Toga iwanuit. So toga's again it's a nominative subject, first declension. And iwanuit is a perfect tense verb, and it means it vanished. So we get vain is a word that we get from this, as well as the word vanished. And if we know that vain or vanity means actually emptiness, right? So iwanuit means it's literally it's become empty. So, but we'll just translate it as the toga vanished. Mercator circumspecta, so this is another stage direction. The merchant, nominative subject. Circum, so around, spectat, looks. So the merchant looks around, present tense verb. Ecce, so look, another interjection. Hic fur, so this is another form of hic haec hoc. Remember, it means this, and it's modifying for. This thief, right? So nominative subject. Togam meam, accusative direct objects. And remember, meam is a possessive pronoun, so it's matching the case of the thing that it's modifying, and which is togam. Both of them have that m on the end, Just like up here, they both end in A. So my toga, get it. He is wearing, present tense form of gero. So let's put it all together. Look, this thief is wearing my toga. Then the thief, the photo goes, parque, parque. Now, you might know this word if you've done any singing in Latin, specifically church Latin. We'll have this, parque or parquete. It usually is translated as have mercy or have pity, be lenient, right? So parque, parque, both of these are imperative singular forms, and it means have mercy on me, right? Pauperimus sum. Now we see that this is a little bit different from pauper. This is a superlative adjective, and it means very poor, exceedingly poor, the most poor. Sum obviously is from the verb meaning to be, where I am. So I am very poor, and then dot dot dot. Obviously, this means that he's sort of stuttering, trying to come up with excuses. Uxor, and uxor is a third declension noun, and it means wife, and it's feminine, and we can tell that because the possessive pronoun mea is modifying it as that first declension ending, indicating that it's going to be a feminine word. So my wife, est, is aigra. And this adjective, which is a predicate adjective right there with that copulate verb, is also going to be in the nominative, first declension, and it means sick or ill, right? So my wife is ill. Decim, liberos, so decim means 10, and libros are also, remember, like decimal system. It's based around that base 10 number system, so we can see decim right there. Decim liberos, and a liberi are free children. So often a liber is just a child, right? Even though a liberus is a child, even though liber comes from the word for free, but it just means children. 10 children. Habeo, present tense verb, singular. I have. So let's put it all together. Have mercy, have mercy. I am very poor. My wife is ill. I have 10 children. You know, all the excuses. This is supposed to be ridiculous. Last bit of stage directions. Mercator, so nominative singular. Et servi, so nominative plural. Furum, accusative direct object. Non, adverb negating. Audiunt, and audio, remember, this is for a third person plural form of the verb audio, and we know that audio means sound, or it's related to sound. So audio means to listen to or to hear. So we'll translate that as the merchant and the slaves did not hear, or I'm sorry, do not hear, this is present tense verb, do not hear the thief said, but, conjunction, obviously, eum, and eum it's a demonstrative pronoun from is, id, and it means him or that one, but him, ad judicum. So we know that the judicum, right there, it's a accusative in a prepositional phrase, so it's an accusative of motion towards, and it's a law court, right? Or to the judge, if you will. The judex is a judge. Trahunt, and this is, we get the word tractor for this. It's from the Latin word traho. Traho in the fourth principal part of it is tractus, and it means to drag. So trahunt is a present tense, third person plural verb. It means they drag him to the judge, right? So mercator et servi fueron non audiunt sed eum ad judicum trahunt means the merchant and the slaves do not listen to the thief, but they drag him to the judge. All righty. So that is the end of stage 9. Hopefully it's not getting too much for you. I think that's still keeping a little bit of humor. If you have any more questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video or in the next class. All right.